Search manifestation online, and you'll see everything from videos promising a dream car in a week to gurus saying you just need to think positive. And maybe you've tried it. Affirmations, vision boards, meditation, journaling. But nothing really changed. If that's you, here's the truth. Most people don't fail at manifestation because they're doing it wrong spiritually. They fail because they treat manifestation like magic, instead of what it actually is. Manifestation is a practical process, built on psychology, neuroscience, and daily habits. In this video, you'll learn what manifestation really means, where the idea came from, the science that explains why it works, why people fail, and a simple system to practice it in a way that creates real results. Manifestation made real. The reason manifestation is confusing is because the internet often presents it in extremes. On one side, you have instant results content, where the message is basically, just believe hard enough and reality will change. On the other side, you have people who dismiss manifestation completely, because they assume it's just fantasy. But manifestation becomes clear when you define it properly. Manifestation is not about wishing. It's about aligning your thoughts, beliefs, identity, and habits so your actions and decisions consistently pull you toward a goal. And once you understand that, you realize something important. You're always manifesting. The only question is whether you're doing it by default or with intention. Let me show you what that looks like through 3 simple stories. First, meet Alex. Alex wants wealth. He writes, "I am wealthy," 50 times a day. He collects pictures of luxury cars and dream vacations. He visualizes nonstop. But Alex keeps overspending. He doesn't save. He avoids learning about money. He avoids discomfort. A year later, he's no closer to freedom. Now, meet Jamie. Jamie doesn't rely on vibes. She sets a measurable goal. Save $100 each month. She builds a tracker. She makes small sacrifices. She starts a side hustle. And she stays consistent. A year later, she has $1,200 saved. And something more valuable than the money. She has momentum. And she has proof that she is the kind of person who follows through. Finally, meet Maria. Maria used to laugh at manifestation until she tried it in a small, grounded way. She committed to walking 15 minutes a day. And she repeated a new identity statement. I am someone who honors my body. 6 months later, she had more energy, lost weight, and inspired the people around her. Maria realized manifestation isn't magic. It's identity plus habits. Alex dreams, Jamie builds, Maria transforms. That's the difference. Manifestation might feel like a modern buzzword, but the core idea is ancient. The Stoics taught that perception shapes experience, meaning your inner interpretation affects how you move through life. In Buddhism and Hindu traditions, you see similar themes: intention, karma, and the idea that actions compound into outcomes. Then, in the 19th century, a movement called New Thought popularized the idea that thoughts become things. And in the modern era, psychology and neuroscience gave it a practical explanation. Books like The Power of Positive Thinking, Psycho-Cybernetics, and Atomic Habits all point to the same principle. Beliefs shape identity. Identity drives behavior. Behavior shapes results. So modern manifestation is essentially ancient wisdom, translated into human behavior and brain science. Let's break down the science in a simple way. 1. The Reticular Activating System, or RAS. Your brain filters reality. It can't process everything, so it highlights what it thinks matters. When you set a goal, you start noticing opportunities you would have ignored before, because your filter changes. 2. Neuroplasticity. Your brain rewires based on repetition. Repeated thoughts, plus repeated habits, create stronger neural pathways. Over time, this becomes automatic. 3. Self-image theory. Maxwell Maltz described the subconscious like a thermostat. If your self-image says, "I'm always broke," you unconsciously return to that level, even after a good opportunity, because it's familiar. 4. Cognitive dissonance. If your identity and your actions don't match, you feel tension. And the brain will reduce that tension by changing one of two things. You change the behavior to match the identity, or you lower the goal to protect the old identity. This is why people quit. 5. The habit loop. Cue, routine, reward. Small routines become identity evidence. This is who I am. And over time, identity becomes the engine behind results. So, when manifestation works, what's actually happening is this. Your inner world changes how you notice, choose, and act. And your actions compound into outcomes. Visualization is powerful. But habits make it real. Because habits are daily proof to your subconscious that your identity has changed. When you show up consistently, especially in small ways, you're telling your brain, "This is who I am now." And the future you want becomes the future you practice. Most people fail at manifestation for predictable reasons. They want the result without the identity shift. They expect instant outcomes instead of compounding consistency. They stop at vision boards without aligned action. They chase too many goals and scatter focus. Manifestation is not about forcing reality. It's about becoming the kind of person whose daily choices naturally create that reality. Here's a simple 5-step system you can start today. Step 1. Get clear. Choose a measurable goal. For example, earn an additional $400 per month by December 2025. Step 2. Reframe identity. Use this sentence. I am the kind of person who... For example, I am the kind of person who builds income consistently. Step 3. Anchor one habit. Pick one daily action that proves the identity. Money goal, track spending, health goal, drink water, confidence goal, speak once in meetings. Step 4. Visualize, then act. Spend 2 minutes visualizing, then immediately take one real action. This links your inner world to your behavior. Step 5. Track progress. Use a simple journal or app. Every checkmark becomes evidence. Evidence becomes belief. Belief becomes identity. Identity becomes results. At this point, you might be wondering how this looks in real life, beyond theory. So let's ground this in everyday examples. If your goal is money, manifestation doesn't start with a lottery mindset. It starts with small, uncomfortable behaviors, checking your bank balance, tracking spending, learning a skill, or sending one outreach message, even when it feels awkward. If your goal is health, manifestation doesn't start with a perfect body image. It starts with showing up on the days you don't feel motivated, drinking water, walking, sleeping on time. If your goal is confidence, manifestation doesn't start with affirmations alone. It starts with speaking once in a meeting, setting one boundary, or expressing one honest opinion. In each case, the external result changes after the internal identity shifts, and that identity is reinforced through repeated action. This is why manifestation works best when it's quiet, boring, and consistent. And this is also why it's so powerful. Another question people often ask is, how do I know if manifestation is actually working? The answer is, you don't measure it by miracles. You measure it by signals. Early signs are subtle. You notice yourself making better decisions without forcing them. You feel less resistance around actions that used to feel heavy. You recover faster from setbacks instead of quitting. You start noticing opportunities you would have ignored before. These are leading indicators, and they matter more than instant results. Results like money, health, or career growth are lagging indicators. They show up later, after identity and behavior have already changed. So if you're seeing small internal shifts, you're not failing. You're building momentum, and momentum compounds quietly until it becomes visible. Manifestation isn't fantasy, and it isn't blind optimism. It's the discipline of aligning who you believe you are with what you repeatedly do. Thoughts create direction. Beliefs create identity. Habits create evidence. And evidence is what convinces the subconscious that change is real. So here's a simple reflection to sit with today. What's one area of your life you want to change? Money, health, confidence, or direction? Who is the version of you that already lives that reality? And what is one small action today that proves you are becoming that person? Write it down. Act on it. Track it. Because the future you want doesn't arrive through wishing. It arrives through practice. And when your thoughts, beliefs, and habits are aligned, manifestation stops feeling like hope and starts feeling inevitable.